Mercedes just got exposed. And now? 4 teams, Ferrari, Audi, Red Bull, and Honda, have gone straight to the FIA to get their engine banned. Why? Because Mercedes may have found a way to legally cheat the 2026 power unit rules. And the worst part? It's working. Their engine is recovering energy in a way no one else can copy, without redesigning their entire concept from scratch. This isn't just clever engineering. It's a political nightmare. And if the FIA doesn't act fast, we could be looking at the biggest scandal in Formula One since the fuel flow sensor drama. Stick around, because what Mercedes just did might be technically legal, but if the paddock has its way, it's getting banned before the first lights go out. At first, it looked like Mercedes was just quiet. No major headlines, no public claims, no dramatic launch event. But behind the scenes, something was brewing. In a closed-door FIA meeting, technical directors from 4 manufacturers raised a concern. Ferrari, Honda, Red Bull, Audi, 4 of the most powerful names in Formula One, all pointing at one team, Mercedes. They weren't angry about a front wing, or a floor edge, or some silly DRS trick. No, they were focused on something far more dangerous: the engine. Specifically, how Mercedes was preparing their power unit for 2026, and the way they were using energy deployment in a way no one else could match. At first, the details were murky. It wasn't an illegal part. It wasn't a banned material. It was something deeper, hidden in the way the power was controlled, in the way electric energy was harvested and unleashed. And that's what triggered the panic. Because under the 2026 rules, hybrid deployment becomes everything. There's less fuel, less drag, and the only way to survive is to outsmart everyone else. And according to the other teams, that's exactly what Mercedes had done. They'd outsmarted the rulebook, and unless the FIA stepped in, they'd dominate 2026 before the first lap was even raced. To understand what Mercedes did, you have to understand what's coming in 2026. It's not just a new car. It's a completely different Formula One. No more MGU-H. No more energy recovery from exhaust heat. No more quiet turbo advantages hiding inside engine covers. In 2026, hybrid systems get stripped down. Every team gets less fuel, more drag, lower top speeds, and one brutal limitation: you can only harvest energy under braking. That's it. So the key to winning isn't just about how much power you have. It's about how and when you use it. And that's where Mercedes made their move. According to internal leaks, and now multiple team sources, Mercedes has developed an energy deployment system that works more like a brain than a battery. Instead of sending one big burst of electric power at a fixed point on the track, their system breaks that power up into dozens of tiny, ultra-precise micropulses, delivered exactly when the car needs it, on corner exit, through traction zones, even to correct minor wheel spin in real time. It's not just a push to pass. It's a dynamic, self-adjusting energy map, one that changes lap to lap, based on grip, tire temp, fuel load, even wind direction. And here's the twist: it doesn't violate any rules, because the regulations tell you how much energy you can deploy, but they don't say how smart your deployment system can be. Mercedes didn't cheat. They engineered a loophole. And now, the rest of the grid is scrambling. Because if this system is allowed, everyone else just lost 12 months of engine development. It didn't take long. Once the details started to leak, the mood in the paddock changed instantly. Ferrari was the first to speak up. They called for clarity. They wanted the FIA to explain whether this kind of deployment system was really within the spirit of the 2026 rules. Then came Red Bull, then Audi, and then Honda. 4 engine suppliers, 4 championship contenders, all aligned. Not because they hate Mercedes, but because they fear what comes next. If this system is allowed to stand, it forces everyone to rip up their 2026 concepts and start over. And in a development war this tight, losing 6 months of work could kill your season before it begins. So the teams went to the FIA, together, not with a protest, not with an accusation, but with a warning. This system may be legal today, but if it's not stopped now, it will define the next 3 years of racing. And here's what makes it worse. Most teams believe Mercedes knew exactly what they were doing. They didn't build a gray area concept by accident. They built it by design. They read the regulations line by line, and found the gap no one else saw. Classic Mercedes. Quiet, clever, brutal. And now, they've put the FIA in an impossible position. Because if the governing body bans the system, they admit the rulebook isn't clear. And if they allow it, They hand Mercedes the biggest power unit advantage since the turbo hybrid era began. Either way, the 2026 engine war has already started, and Mercedes just fired the first shot. Right now, the FIA is stuck. On one side, for engine manufacturers demanding action, for teams pushing for a rule clarification, for major powers threatening to drag this fight into the headlines if nothing is done. And on the other side, Mercedes, calm, confident, silent. They've made no statement, no defense, no press response, because they don't need to. Their entire position rests on one brutal fact. They didn't break a single rule. There's no illegal hardware, no hidden mapping, no software manipulation. Everything they've built is, by the letter of the law, legal. So the question isn't whether Mercedes should be punished. It's whether the rules themselves are strong enough to survive. And that's where things get dangerous. Because if the FIA makes a move now, if they issue a technical directive, tighten the wording, or ban Mercedes' deployment system by name, they open the door to chaos, late redesigns, political protests, backroom deals, and another ugly chapter in Formula One's long history of blurred lines. But if they do nothing, they let Mercedes set the tone for 2026. They let one team, one system, define the new era, before a single wheel has turned. And here's what no one is saying out loud. Mercedes isn't just trying to win in 2026. They're trying to control the blueprint. Because if their system becomes the standard, every other team has to follow their architecture, their timing, their concept. It's not just performance. It's power. And right now, the FIA has a decision to make. Let it happen, or shut it down, before it's too late. This isn't the first time Mercedes has done this. In fact, it's how they built an empire. Back in 2014, they walked into a brand new turbo hybrid era, with an engine no one could touch. Why? Because they understood the regulations better than anyone else. They didn't wait to see what the others would build. They showed up ready. And by the time the grid caught up, it was already over. 8 straight titles. 6 world championships for Hamilton. A dynasty. And now? They're trying to do it again. 2026 is the clean slate. The rulebook is thin. The boundaries are undefined. Which means whoever pushes hardest, fastest, first, sets the tone for everyone else. Mercedes didn't just build a better power unit. They built a trap. They're forcing the FIA to either ban it and rewrite the rules under pressure, or stay quiet and let Mercedes define what's possible in the next generation of Formula One. Because here's the truth. This isn't just about energy deployment. It's not about pulses, recovery rates, or battery mapping. It's about control. Control over how cars are built, how power is used, how victories are won. And right now, Mercedes is ahead. The other engine manufacturers are panicking. The FIA is cornered. And the rest of us? We're watching the opening moves of a war that hasn't even hit the track yet. So the question is no longer, is the system legal? The question is, will the FIA let it survive Bahrain? Because if they do, Mercedes might already be champion. And no one will be able to stop them.